Insum Insider.
Welcome to the Inside. This is the Insum Insider, your source for Oracle Apex tips, techniques, methodologies, and really wherever that discussion takes us. I'm your host, Monty Latchley, coming to you from frigid Houston, Texas. Had to don the hoodie. With me today is my good friend and member of the Insum family, Michelle Scamini. Hello, Michelle.
Hello, Monty.
At the helm. Keeping us on time and task is our producer, French-Canadian Mark Rule. Mark, we appreciate everything you do for us. It's Thursday, February 11th, Season 2, Episode 3. And thank you for spending a piece of your afternoon with us. We're worldwide, coming to you live on Facebook and YouTube. The Insum Insider is, of course, sponsored by Insum, and thus the name. If you're doing anything at all with Apex and you need a lifeline, reach out to us. We offer everything from coaching, mentoring, all the way through turnkey project management and development. We're laser focused on Apex, and we have been since 2004. Michelle, how are we doing?
Good. It's been a really busy couple of weeks since we last met on the Insider.
A lot's happened. A lot has happened. A couple of splashes.
Yeah, you helped us welcome Stephen Feuerstein last week. We're really excited to have him join us at Insum, and you'll be all of our friends in the Insum cinematic universe will be catching Stephen really, really soon. So that was great. And Monty, we also got our ISO certification last week. So this is something that we're really proud of. We've been working hard for the last year, lining everything up. So we're really proud about this certification.
Tremendous amount of effort went into that, getting the certification, and it's important, as we work with some of the larger clients, that those kind of certifications are very, very important.
Yep.
Well, on the docket today, something I'm really looking forward to is we have Dimitri Gielis, CEO of United Codes, and that's the company responsible for Apex Office Print, Apex Media Extensions, as well as some outstanding commercial plugins. Printing has always been kind of a topic of great interest with the Apex community. So today we're going to talk printing and get the scoop straight from the horse's mouth. So Michelle, what say you bring on Dimitri?
You have so many people in your room, Michelle.
Look, it's all for your benefit. We can't do this. You can't benefit from this at live conferences, so we're giving you the applause here.
Wow.
Like I said, anything silly we do, you can blame Monty or thank Monty, whatever you prefer.
Thank you, Monty. Thank you.
I'll take it. Yeah, there you saw our sound effects budget in full display.
There you go.
Welcome, Dimitri, to the Insum Insider. I can only assume this is the highlight of your professional career. Welcome to the mountaintop.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you. I feel honored.
You and I go way back. I think I counted it up. It's like 16 years since you and I first crossed paths, and it's been a pleasure knowing you throughout this time, and seeing you and your company grow, and seeing having you help us evangelize Apex all along the way.
Yeah, it has been great, a fun ride, and it's amazing. Like both Michelle and Monty, and many others, like how long we were together, like a group of friends that we became. So
right. I don't know if you're paying attention at all the comments and all the people saying hi. Probably a lot of names that you recognize, people that we've worked with or we've been friends with for a long time. So it's great. It's great that everyone showed up today. Thank you.
Yeah. Joel always talks about the Apex community and how there's not another community like it, and it's certainly been proven out over the years. I mean, this community is strong and getting stronger. Now, I'll be honest, Dimitri. I really liked it whenever we were whenever it was a little clique early on, because everybody knew everybody, but we missed that intimacy about it that we had 15, 20 years ago at the inception of the product. but it's so great to see what it's evolved into. And you've got people all over the world using the tool and really pushing it to places we never dreamed it could go.
Yeah, like if like on my blog, I did like the first Apex meetup ever. Like I think it was in 2006 at Open World, like where we had a little bar.
Yeah.
Like if you look at that picture, and like I know that the Apex team even like drove me to my hotel because like it was and like, it was the first time I saw them. So like from that to now, like Apex is all over the place, and so many people are using it now. It's like it's amazing.
It really is. It really is. Let's have some fun. You know, you and I go way back, Dimitri, but not everyone maybe knows as much about you. So we're going to play a little game. You want to play a game?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
All right, let's play a game. I call it Two Truths and a Lie. We're going to throw up two facts or three. There's three things on the list. One of these is not true. So you have to identify the one that's not true. So I would ask everyone in attendance to type in the one of these items that is not true. So let's go through the list. Dimitri has visited every continent except Antarctica. Dimitri finished in the top 200 in the 2014 Brussels Marathon, ahead of a Kenyan, I may add. And Dimitri once gave a session on hunting Pokemons. All right, so one of those is not true. The other two are true. So in the comments or in the chat, please post your entry there. Those of you in attendance on YouTube and on Facebook.
You're missing an important point, though. This isn't just all fun and games.
Are we doing it for pride? Is it just for pride or what?
I think we've got a prize to give away, don't we?
Go ahead, Dimitri. Introduce the prize.
Yeah, so we are happy to sponsor or give away a prize for a 1 year AOP Silver Cloud license. Like you said, many people like AOP, so we give that away for 1 year.
Wow. What's the value of that?
Oh, I don't know by heart. Like what is it, $600 or something?
$600. All right, that's great.
That's awesome. All right.
Guys, well, get your entries in. Yep, get your entries in, and we'll remind you halfway through and then at the end. So, you know, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see what kind of responses we're getting. So we kind of tapped in a little bit about, you know, the community and all that, but let's talk about you personally now, Dimitri, as far as your journey to Apex and, you know, how you stumbled upon the tool, who introduced you to the tool, and how did the decision come to be that you said, okay, I'm going to really make my career around this development platform from Oracle?
Yeah, like it started actually when I was in college, like it was 97. And this is when I saw not college, like what is it, university, the Oracle database. And I love that. I really like data and the database. So my dream was to work for Oracle. And so that happened in 2000. I was a consultant. And so I was in the database team. I was doing consulting with that. And then in 2004, I saw Apex. And I was like blown away because for me, it was the fastest way to bring this data alive. Like you could enter data in the database through just a web browser, or you could show the data. So I was blown away by it in 2004. And I said, I want to do things with this. And then from 2006 onwards, like we started with Apex Evangelist, and then later it was Apex R&D, and now it's United Code. So from 2006 onwards, I didn't do anything else than Apex. I really believe in the tool. I love the Oracle database. I love HTML or Apex now. So I thought really to evangelize the thing. I think that's far done now. Like everybody knows, or many people know about it now. I know it's more about bringing extra value, more low code, and so that's a bit my history.
You know, go ahead, Michelle.
No, I was just going to say I think that's been such a similar experience for so many of us. We first discovered it many years ago, and that feeling of just being blown away by how amazing it was and then sort of never looking back. I think anytime we have somebody on that talks about how they got started, it sounds like a similar story. I fell upon it, discovered it, and sort of never looked back. I think that says a lot.
Never left.
Yeah.
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 And, you know,
But
for
also
me,
this. Oh, sorry.
no, I was just going to say, for me early on, yeah, as these major versions were released, I kept thinking at the time, wow, this is everything we've been needing. Now it's in the tool. You know, what more can they add? And this was way back, you know, 3.2 and 4 and all this, and they continue to add these features. I know that you know, we continue to ask for features in the tool, but God, I just keep thinking, where can this thing go? Because it already does so much and does what we need so well.
Yeah, exactly. But if you look at the roadmap, a lot of fun stuff is still coming. And the nice thing I find with Apex is like what you wrote in 2004 or 2006, or like whenever you wrote it, it will still run today. Like they can just, this is really nice with the metadata driven
Yes.
thing that Apex is. Like it can just generate new code on the fly if it wanted that.
You know,
it's following new standards, everything. Like it's really nice.
Michelle has an old app that's still out there. What is it? It's early
I'm
on. Probably had
sure
the stand theme.
it was 2006, and it's still in production, running smoothly. I have, people still using it. So, you know, never really upgraded the theme or anything, and still happily using it. So I think that says a lot as well.
If it ain't broke,
I'm never going to upgrade that, because when I see that theme, I'm like, yeah, there's a sense of pride there.
Absolutely. So I know that you entered private consultancy when you left Oracle. When did you leave Oracle?
2004.
2004.
And then I had 2 years before my own company. So I went, like, from Oracle, I went to a smaller company, French company, starting an Apex team, or starting an Oracle team there, actually. And then, like, I went to a bigger consulting company for 1 year being a manager, but like that wasn't for me. And then I started my own company to only do like Apex. So
yeah. Then United. So there was a time there after you entered private consultancy. Then there was a time there where you were you and John Scott were working together, and then you formed United Codes. Actually, it wasn't before. It was United Codes, wasn't it? Apex R&D.
Yeah, Apex R&D.
Okay. When did that occur? What year was that?
2000, between 2012 and 2014. Okay. Like.
And then go ahead.
Yeah, like if you look at it, it's basically first evangelizing, then it's more like doing research and development. This is really where like incarnation of many of the ideas that you see now, and then it became more like United Codes is really like a rebranding of Apex R&D, because we wanted to more show, like, we had all those little different things where we hadn't done research on, but we wanted a real nice umbrella, and to showcase we are both doing consulting, but we are also we have a lot of focus now on products. So we have Apex Office Sprint, Apex Media Extension, like all those different products under a nice umbrella, and we really like to work with different people. So being united, like that, this was a whole, like, I did a blog post once about United Codes and what's behind it. So yeah, it's.
Apex isn't in the name. Was that intentional? Does that give you a little bit more flexibility, or are you still going to be completely focused on Apex?
Yeah, like, so Apex, if you look at Apex as the tool, Apex is also the top of the mountain. Like, it's still, I still like it in the name, but I wanted like a bigger brand, like much bigger. And like with Apex Office Sprint, for example, we could go outside of Apex. My heart and soul is still in Oracle technology and Apex. I'm really passionate about that, so I will never leave that alone. But we also, like, it's really, I like to bring ideas to life. And with United Codes, if we do, like, we have a pharma application, or we have like, so to monitor healthcare or to manage students' houses or apartments. Like really, this is all built in Apex, but they don't care is it built in Apex or any other tool. So it didn't really fit in Apex. And the R&D part, this is the most, like, we have no R&D as part of a division of United Codes. We really believe in R&D. So it's a real foundation, but it's not just doing R&D. So this is what is behind it. Like, I could have called it something else, but United Codes was really something that was nice. Like we hired a guy and he came up with this whole idea, and like he looked at what we were doing, came up with this, and I loved it from day one. And so I said, okay, let's run it.
It sounds great. I can't even imagine the effort involved in such a major rebranding, right? I'm speaking from a marketer's perspective. I can imagine that was a huge project. But Dimitri, with so many different products and R&D and obviously client work as well, how can you tell us a bit, how big is your team? How many people work for United Codes?
Yeah, so last year, like at the end of the year, I always sent out like an email to thank the team and to say like, hey, well done everybody, and look what we achieved. So last year we had about 20 people. No, they're not all on the payroll, but they are part, I consider them part of the team, and some are freelance, but they work, like 20 people worked on United Codes. So
great.
Plus then we have all the partners, for example, you, like your reseller of AOP, like I don't count those people with it. So it's more like the core team working on products and then a few people doing consulting.
Well, let's talk about AOP for a minute, because that's really your flagship product, I'm assuming.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. People are doing some amazing things with it. Michelle actually showed me something that she did in AOP, and I'm like, that is way cool.
It is not sophisticated, but it's very cute. So, Dimitri, you know about our reading rewards project that I've been doing for many, many years. So this is a kids log their reading and they get certificates when they finish a book. And so we get pictures from teachers all over the world that show us these walls of book certificates. And that was something that I did with AOP. You and I worked on that a couple of years ago. So just wanted to share that. I thought that was a nice little use case for AOP.
No,
it's not just rows and columns everywhere.
There you go.
No, but this is a nice thing. Like what I love about doing the products, like when you do consulting, it's like for one customer. But like when you do a product, you build some tools that other people can use to make their ideas alive. So you had an idea to give a certificate, and we could leverage you with this thing. So what I see, what people build with AOP and like with the other products we have, I find this amazing. It gives so much reward. It's really nice. So
and I saw Christina Moore say hi a while ago. So I know that she's been a client of yours for a long time, and she's been doing some amazing things with AOP as well. I think some invoices that span sort of thousands and thousands of pages from memory, and able to do that with AOP.
Yeah, and also like Christina and her team, like they drove also what is in AOP today. Like some of the things they needed, like we built along the way. And this is really like, I see AOP also as this community is around it. And they say, oh, we like it, but can you also do this and do that? We really try to listen to them and deliver that. So.
You know, we needed this print capability. I always thought the criticism around Apex about, well, you can't print or it had insufficient printing wasn't valid at all, because if you look at Oracle Forms, there's no, you use Oracle reports when you want to do printing. So I think it's great that we've got this integration now with AOP, because it's just a perfect fit. It's just a perfect fit and integrates so nicely with Apex. Heck, it is Apex. So
I just wanted to call out, sorry, Christina said she sent Dimitri a photo of a printed invoice that was 3 inches tall.
Look at that.
Like,
shout out for you.
Yeah, one of the features that Christina wanted is like having images, and like if you want to do appendixes with your PDF, and like she had many images, so we want all those images converted into PDF too, and like all that, like that
And
was
then
a major feature for
merging files as
merging as
well,
well. Yeah,
appending, prepending. I remember all of
yeah,
that.
that came from her. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. You were just so receptive, and it was done. It was done very quickly as well. So I think that's big shout out to you guys as well for being so receptive and responsive to your customers.
Now,
yeah,
I talked to a gentleman yesterday, as a matter of fact, Dimitri, when he was asking about, what are some of the things that he can currently do with Oracle reports that he is unable to do with AOP, and I really couldn't provide him a good answer, because I think you guys are doing a great job. What about some of the really complex widows and orphans and that kind of stuff? Are you guys able to handle that easily on pagination?
I think it's just a different way of thinking. Like with reports, you really have the report builder, and you can do like triggers before, after, and like all that stuff. So it's a bit different with AOP because it's completely template driven, and we wanted this. So you do your template in Word, but like I think Scott Wesley, he did a really nice project on the Oracle reports to AOP. Like I thought he was going to present on that. I know that you guys have done a lot of with AOP, a lot of form conversion as well. So, so I think like you can do like all the complex things. I believe you can do all the Oracle reports with AOP too. It's just a different way of building them with, for example, the trigger part that you have.
Mm-hmm. Sticking on the subject of AOP, and I don't know if you have this information at your fingertips or not, but I know you offer on-prem and you offer the cloud service as well. Do you see most people signing up for on-prem, or are most clients using the cloud service, your hosted cloud service?
Yeah, so it depends how you look at it. Like most revenue comes from the on-premise version. So this is where we earn most with, but the cloud is really popular. So we have over 2 million prints.
Wow.
Like we have one is free cloud, but then we have also, especially the last year, we see a lot of increase in our AOP cloud. I expect the more people going to the Oracle cloud or to like another cloud, that they want just a service. So we do see like if you look at the increase, it's higher in cloud than on premise, but at the moment on premise is still our it's sells more cloud.
Your bread and butter.
The bread and butter. Let's remind everyone, if you've joined late, that we are giving away a silver subscription to AOP that's worth approximately $600. And to be in contention, to be eligible, you must identify which one of these is not true. Mark, could you throw that up on the screen? There we go. One of these is not true. You identify in the chat which one's not true, and you will be eligible for a drawing at the end of this session for a silver subscription to AOP. Thank you, Mark. Let's talk about a couple of things. I think everybody, including myself, just instantly identifies United Codes with AOP, but you guys have other projects that you're working on, and like the media extensions. I mean, are you starting to get some? Are you starting to get some momentum with some of these other things? You think they'll ever catch up to AOP?
Oh, I don't know, like if they ever catch up with AOP, because like AOP is really driven also by management. Like they need reports, so they are happy to spend money with that. With Apex Media Extension, it was a replacement for something that Oracle decommissioned, like Intermedia. And like, so what happens if people upgrade to Oracle 19C database, then Intermedia is gone, or Oracle Multimedia, however you wanted to call it. So they lose functionality and they need a replacement. And when you look at the Oracle documentation, they included us as an alternative or as a solution of this going away. So it helps. Like many people are now using it. I think the person who's most using it is like Gemma with Cavanti.
Gemma.
Yeah, like she hits the Amy like a lot. Like it's amazing how much traffic she generates. But the thing is that it's really hard for us to tell if they're using it, because we also ship it with AOP. So if you have AOP Gold, you have Apex Media Extension with it.
Oh, right. I didn't
So
know that.
many people use the bundle. So we did see a shift in like which license that they went with. So yeah, like we are investing a lot. Like every year, our investment goes up in every product. So also in Apex Media Extension. So we are going to support, like, for example, the iPhone format. And like we have for every product, we have like some how do you say, roadmap.
Mm-hmm.
And so Apex Media Extension will have some more things, which I expect like will take on more people. But yeah, I think it's more driven by Oracle Database 19c upgrades than anything else.
I was completely unaware of that. So if you were using Oracle, you said Oracle Multimedia, and then you upgrade your database, you're out of luck unless you go to AME. There you go. I had no idea. Let's talk a bit about. Anyway, are you? Can we leave AME?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay. There's also some other projects that are on your website that I really didn't have a whole lot of knowledge about. The Project I, is that something pretty new?
Yeah, like it's what is it, like 1 year? No, a bit less than 1 year old, but like it's really something that I wanted myself. I had this in my head for a very long time, and just by doing projects, like we have to support, or people say, hey, Dimitri, can you come in and investigate like our Apex instance? So then like you run a couple of queries, like you have like repos predefined and all that, but it wasn't like a real nice thing. I always had to do the same thing again. So I really wanted to do something with that. And then I don't know about you guys, but like I don't like to write the documentation. So I wanted automated documentation. So this is an Apex Project I, and like, so there are a few features to monitor, to make your development easier. And really, like Patrick Wolf, I remember like I think 2006, like we were the guys like with the early blogs, like Patrick and me, and like he did really great things. And he had this graphis diagram which shows like page flows, and I really love that. But like, yeah, then like it wasn't for 2020, it wasn't good enough anymore. And so we bought this library engine, and then we created this graphis, like a similar thing. So we have like page flows, we have session, like you can do a session, like, yeah, I love the product. I think we should make more webinars or like blog posts about it, because I think it's really powerful. And we have some really cool things.
This is something that you sell, or it's a free tool that you provide?
Yeah, so it's for almost every product we have. Like we have a free tier. So it's free for personal use, and it's like 2,500 for like for a license. So, and yeah, like it's very, I consider it cheap for what you get. But yeah, like it's amazing. Like even this morning, I was showing a customer, like when you have a runtime environment of Apex and you have to do debugging in production, like Ape allows you to do remote debugging as well. And
Ape,
like
I like your acronym.
Yeah, like we have AOP, Amy, and Ape.
Okay.
And like for a long time, the logo of Ape or Apex Project I was like a monkey, but then we changed it.
Well, I mean, if it were Monty, he'd definitely put a monkey there. I'm sure. That's.
I actually love monkeys, and like at one presentation at Kscope, I had like monkeys in my presentation, and like most people loved it, but there was like one comment that said like, you shouldn't like compare people with like monkeys, and like so. But
hey, I understand. But
I wanted to say, I picked up on something, Dimitri. You say that you don't like to write documentation. However, you are one of the most prolific bloggers that I know. Your series on the always free tier, I think there were like, I want to say
exhaustive.
15,
Yeah,
I think I got up
19.
to 15, 19 posts.
Yeah, 19. I was going to stop with 12, but then Oracle did some other things, so then I had to keep blogging.
At what point does it become a book? I mean, that's a lot of effort. That's a lot of writing.
Yeah, well, I actually had the opportunity to turn it into a book, but like Adrian did it. So he is very smart. So he did it. I wanted to bring out the products. Like it was all at the same time, like rebranding, new products, and like we launched like so much last year. So this year it's much more. You won't see much less from us, but we will like all the products will improve a lot, and we will try to make them much easier as well. So like we have some really cool things coming, but it won't be like many like new things like we did last year. So
it's a different mindset when we've concentrated on services, professional services around Apex, and you've gone the product route here, certainly of late, and it is a different mindset because it's there's a lot involved when you're support after the sale, when you're doing products, and you've got to have tech support, you've got to have customer support, all that stuff that you don't really have in place if you're just selling professional services. So I really do appreciate the effort that goes into creating and supporting these products on an ongoing basis. We talked about Project I, and then there was a couple of other things that I think would qualify as products as well. There is the let's talk about before we get into the Rentmaster and the Market Access tool. What about Plugins Pro? You guys are putting out some pretty fantastic plugins right now too.
Yeah, we are. We have one of the best plugins developers like working for us. Like Bartosz is really doing a great job. But now we also start to work with other people building plugins, and we are releasing this under United Codes brand. So yeah, like it's this thing. Like I love Apex, and like if you have to do certain things and you have to write a lot of code, I really want to help solving that. Like AOP was a major one, but there are some small things that are just not in the product or not in the product yet. And like if you need it, then a plugin is so much easier. Like you did another session with Matt and Peter, like they have the same idea. I think everybody agrees that plugins is a really good way of maintaining your code, custom code, and moving forward. So I just wanted to professionalize this because what you don't want is like you end up getting something, a plugin, and then like 2 years later, because you don't understand, it doesn't work anymore, and you don't know what to do. Right. So I wanted to put something professional behind it.
One of the challenges with so many plugins these days is you find a great one and then it stops being supported. So I think when you guys put out commercial plugins or professionally supported plugins, that's a whole different ballgame. You know that you're going to keep the plugins up to date. They're going to keep working with future versions. So I think plugins are great, but they should come with a little bit of a watch out. Make sure that you trust the source and that they're going to get kept be updated, because if you use a plugin a lot through different applications and something breaks, then you're in a bad situation. So the benefit that you've had from the plugin, you basically lose it.
Yeah, and like you can consider it as a product or all like small little products, but I consider it as a service as well. Like we have this special model where we say, okay, you can use like a company license, and you can use like sometimes we do the special, like you can use all our plugins, unlimited plugins for 5K, and if you don't want, like, let's say we have an interactive grid checkbox, but like this was valid in 19.2.21, but then in 22 they put it in. The Apex team have a native functionality. So then you can just swap out the plugin. So we have different plans, and depending the plan, like you can just, this year you use those plugins, next year you might use different plugins. And like, I really see it as a service that we provide
That's
to
a
the
really
people.
interesting model. Do you have a favorite plugin?
I was going to ask that.
Oh,
Rich text editor. It's probably one of my, like, it's my most favorite one. Like it's like we really try to be the printing solution and like exporting and creating documents solution, but like some plugins really fit into that as well. Like the rich text editor really fits into doing anything you like with documents. Like you can do literally, you can drag and drop images, you can have books. Like we have a Dutch customer who had a Word document with like pages and pages of like medicines, and like if you take too much, like what happens. And they really had a hard time to like keep supporting it. They had on the website this Word document, they had a database, and then they basically changed everything. The whole Word document became a rich text editor. And then like the data comes from the database. They use AOP to generate the things, and then they use Apex as well. So it's, yeah, I really love the rich text editor. What we have done there, it's unbelievable. Like, yeah.
I always wanted to.
Sorry?
Go ahead, Michelle.
I was just going to say, we need to check that one out.
Another one that's interesting to me is the guided tour, because, you know, that's, once we develop an application for a client, you know, we try to train the trainer and, you know, really pass that knowledge on about how to use the app and all that. But it seems like that just makes all that so much easier, because they'll be able to kind of have a self-guided tour through the app. You know, click here, do this, and that's something that I think you'll get some companies interested in, is this guided tour. Have you seen much? Have you seen, like, what I'm looking at your list of plugins now? Is there any that are really head and shoulders as far as adoption? You mentioned the rich text editor. Is that kind of the
No, the top one is actually Nested Report, which we adopted from like Bartosz, like he created when he was working for Proteus, and then like now he's working for us. So we adopted that, and we have some plans to improve that. Like, because I guess also it's because it's a free one, but like that's the most downloaded one. But like for guided tour, for example, is a really interesting one because it came from one of the guys you really know well, Jorge. Jorge Rimblas, like he asked for this. So, and again, like what we have done with AOP, we are now doing with Plugins Pro as well. Like we are really listening to what people want, and then like we try to build it. But like
I saw Jorge actually. He said hi earlier, so he's watching.
Oh yeah. I love Jorge. Like he's a really nice guy. He's really smart as well, and like yeah. You know, this is what's really nice. Jorge but like the community really drives you forward, and like same with Christina. Like she has like some requests. Jorge had some requests, and like this interactivity in the guided tour. I love it. It's database driven. I love it. Like there's a tour builder. Like yeah, it's nice.
I'm going to take another look at it. It says planned plugins too. You have a PDF region. Is that how long before we see that?
Oh, like so the next plugin that will come is like a progress bar, and then we have, what is the other one? Another suite alert. Like those two are even not on the website, but they are almost ready to come out. So they will come within 2 weeks, most likely. I shouldn't say this because like people can.
You need a safe
I'm not always
we won't
involved
hold
in
you
the
to
whole
it.
thing. So, but yeah. So the PDF region, yeah, like this is definitely coming. Again, it fits into our thing of documents and like reports. I cannot give a timeline on that yet. Like we have for that we have a proof of concept, but we didn't really start on the plugin development yet. So.
What's your thought process when it comes to which ones you're going to provide free to the community, and which ones are going to be considered commercial plugins? Does it have to do with the complexity of it? Because there's going to be, if somebody's paying for something, they're going to expect it to be supported and maintained in the future, maybe more so than if they get something for free. What's your thought process in what you release to the community and what you release commercially?
At the moment, it's really linked to the effort that we are putting into something. Like the client-side validation, I think this is the most, over 350 hours went into that plugin. Ooh. So that's, to be honest, like this whole, all the products actually require a lot of investment upfront. So it's really linked to if we can do a plugin in a short time frame, then it will be a free one, and otherwise we have like bronze, silver, gold. But yeah. But I really think like with the plugins, the biggest benefit is like the support. Like people really like the support we do with AOP and like with Apex Media Extension, but we try to do the same level of support with Plugins Pro. So both listening to features that they want, but also like if they need help with implementing, this is really like we try to do that too.
For sure, and that's something that we've seen a lot in the comments today. People are really commenting on your on the support you guys provide. So I think that's a huge value. Back to AOP, your flagship product. Is there anything you talked about roadmaps for all of your products? Is there anything you can share with us about what's in the works for AOP coming up that maybe people might be about?
Yeah, like. And in Q2, Q3, we have quite a nice thing coming, but I won't go into that yet. But so in Q1, so AOP 21.1, like this primer, like we didn't communicate this yet, but we will have like a new type of plugin, which allows you basically we take the integration with Apex to like level like warp speed if you want. So basically it's one plugin, and it will hook up to interactive report, interactive grid, classic report, like anything. In your actions menu, you will have like an entry, which you can define yourself. And it will not only support like, I want this interactive report with this template. So we basically bring to the end user, like from a development point of view, you just include the plugin. From an end user point of view, you get a nice dialogue and you can say, I want to have a PDF with this template. I want to have it scheduled. Like it's a really it doesn't exist yet. So this is we have seen that customers are building this,
right?
But now we are coming out with like a plugin which goes like warp speed.
Exposes all the attributes that you would normally have the developer doing all that stuff.
Yeah. It was already really easy to integrate AOP with Apex, and like we had a nice plugin, but you would need to create a button, put a dynamic action to it. Now it's like you say, okay, one dynamic action, you can say for the whole app, like integrate with interactive report, interactive grid, classic report. Like we can hook up to the print PDF thing, and we give like out of the box, you get much more flexibility. Like people, they really like to put a logo on top of the interactive report when they download it. Like you can do this, but we also support like multiple interactive reports. Like Apex cannot do that. Like we have a ton of things. So we bring like one extra plugin to in the portfolio, which really helps to cut on development time if you need that functionality.
That'll be great. And will that be included in all tiers of AOP?
Yeah, all tiers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm excited.
So this will be one of the bigger features in AOP 21.1. And then you will see more integration with Apex as well, but it's linked to like a newer version of Apex. But yeah, like that's.
Does AOP allow for the functionality of back in the Forms days, they had the RRP utility, which would allow like silent printing and direct to printer kind of things without throwing up the print dialog and without allowing you to save whatever. It would just like receipt printing. It would let you just go direct to your default printer. Does AOP support that?
Yeah. Like I did a blog post about the Zebra printer. This was actually on a project for what was it, energy company in Belgium, and they do examinations, and they print on a Zebra printer like stickers and all that stuff, which they put on those reactors and energy things. So yeah, like that works. We have like a customer using AOP in a bar, and they print receipts when you have drinks. So it's very funny what people do with AOP.
We need a field trip, Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
I got to see this in action. There's a couple of other things that I wanted to touch on. These were new to me, and I don't. Maybe we can get your comments on. It seems to be the Rentmaster platform seems to be pretty specific. Did you have somebody that just said, "Hey, we need this"? You built it, and then you said, "Hey, I might as well just make a product around it."
Yeah. So the products that we covered now were all towards Apex. But we have some, like the two, like Rentmaster and Market Access Tool. So those are more for like a vertical, and this solves a specific problem. Like, how does it work most of the time? Like, I know somebody and or like somebody knows me. We are friends, and they say, "Oh, I cannot say the word, but like I really have issues." So okay, let me try to help you, and then we build something and.
But then it's one thing to develop something for a friend, which we've all done with Apex, because it feels like it's so easy to do, either a friend or for your local soccer team or whatever. But then taking that from doing a favor for someone and just for a small group and turning that into a product is a whole other ball game, right? When you get people coming on board that hopefully start paying you for these things, well, you have to support, you have to keep it up to date, you have to, and then how do you guys manage that in terms of, I would imagine that effort into Rentmaster is maybe less lucrative than effort that you put into on-premise AOP. Do you not worry about spreading yourselves too thin sometimes?
Yeah, like those, the Apex products are really, this is where all our energy goes. The other two, like we have listed them, but we don't have dedicated websites, for example, to them.
Okay.
And this is more mode, or like if people want something like this, we just wanted to list it because otherwise it's silly as well. Like we have it. But this is the thing, like I really like to help people. But like if it is a friend, like they are not able to pay for all the things. So we invest in it and we say, okay, we will build this for you. We see a market for it, and please tell your friends. And then like this is how it works actually. And with the Market Access Tool, like we don't have like dedicated salespeople for pharma, for example. But again, that was a friend who worked for a pharma company who had an issue, and I said, okay, we can help. And then like, I got some help to put it on other pharma customers. So yeah, but it's not like it's very tiny. It's for a specific Belgian and Luxembourg market. So yeah, it's really nice to do, and I like it, but it's not that we earn a lot with that. So
right.
Well, but I do like, so like, for example, this is all about like bringing ideas to life. So if people have like an idea, I really want to see if we can help them. But the hardest part is doing like sales, marketing, all that stuff. Like that's hard, right?
Right. We'd rather coding.
I do have. I'm sorry, Michelle. I do have a real appreciation of what you're doing on the product space. I mean, I'd like to see us get into products, but it is a completely different animal. I mean, when you're doing services and professional services around Apex compared to maintaining a product suite, it's just absolutely different. So I really have an appreciation for what you've been able to accomplish.
I think it makes sense when you've got what Dimitri is referring, what he's describing with the word of mouth and a friend tells a friend, and you've got something that's right for a very specific niche that almost sells itself. But when you there's so many ideas out there, it feels easy to put something out. But when you get into the marketing and then, support of these SaaS tools that, oftentimes people aren't willing to pay that much money for, it's hard to see that it's worth the effort, really. But so it's great that you guys, are able to get into these small niche markets and make it worthwhile.
But sometimes you also have to believe in it. Like I know in the early days of AOP, like I can tell you, like 2 years and 2 years investment without like being sure that you ever get your money back, right? Like, and then it picks up, and this was with AOP, but like maybe not everybody believed in it from day one. Like there were other tools out there too, and like, are you really going to build that? Yeah, we are going to do it. We believe in it. We need it ourselves. So
I always thought AOP would end up as part of Apex itself. I know that there's probably things you can't talk about, but I always kind of thought that was the ultimate. It is the ultimate printing solution for Apex. It's the ultimate, and so I'm just I would not have. Let me put it this way: I would not have been surprised to see AOP as part of Apex. It's just a perfect marriage. It's just a perfect match. So well done, Dimitri.
Well done, and thank you for solving this problem for the Apex community so brilliantly.
Yep.
I didn't do it alone. Like, I really need to thank the whole team. Like Sunil and Jackie, they are doing a really tremendous job, and we have many other people that are not in the media or not like known in the Apex space, which are really making a difference for us. So it's not me, it's the entire team. Like it's an amazing team.
Hey guys, I think it's going to. Jorge says it absolutely should be part of Apex. There you go.
There you
From
go.
Jorge's mouth to
groundswell of support.
I think it's going to be time to pick out a winner shortly. I don't know how, Monty, you want to do this. If Dimitri wants to have a look in the private chat to see who the right answers were.
Let's Mark.
Do we give people a last chance to put?
Yeah, throw it up on the screen there, Mark. Let's give people a last chance. If you've joined late, if you're not familiar with what we're talking about, one of these is not true. Yeah, one of these is not true. Dimitri has visited every continent except Antarctica. Dimitri finished in the top 200 in the 2014 Brussels Marathon. And Dimitri once gave a session on hunting Pokemons. One of those is not true. Two of them are true. Two of them are true. Put in the chat which one is the lie, and you will be eligible for a silver subscription via AOP. So we'll give you one last chance to do that. While we're waiting, Dimitri, where can I get such a T-shirt? I love the T-shirt. I love Apex, and to use AOP. Come on, that's good. That's as marketable as some of these plugins.
Yeah, we were at all the conferences, but now it's a bit hard to give them away. So but you definitely get one.
You need to add a swag store to your products now.
Yeah. But like Monty can ask Jackie, and she will send Monty one. So as you're both in Texas.
Monty wants. All right, I'll reach out to Jackie. No, but it's been thank you, Jackie. It's been great touching base with you too. It's like a lot of times we really talk tech, we talk lines of code, and we talk, we get into the weeds big time. And so I really like the conversations that we're having here with you today, because we're getting we're not just getting so deep into the tech, because you mentioned something earlier on. You said some people, they don't even care about the tool. They care about getting the problem solved, whether it's Apex, whether it's not Apex, what the plugin is, whatnot. They want their problem solved. And I think we do that when we don't get so deep into the tech. So good job. I hope you did enjoy the conversation as much as we enjoyed having you here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And were there any questions from the audience or not? Or that was what flew by?
Everything you've seen flowing by has been
okay.
I haven't seen questions. I've seen a lot of kudos. I've seen a lot of people trying to figure out the lie, but I haven't seen any questions. I think we've addressed everything. We haven't been encouraging questions, I have to say. Does anybody have any questions? Feel free. So who's picking the winner?
I think we should let our producer Mark Rule pick the winner there, and he's been the one that's been monitoring the chat as it comes in. So Mark, whenever you've been able to accumulate all of the answers and pick a winner.
You want to
Let's
put
go ahead
that
and throw it up on the
chat?
throw it up on the chat. Throw it up on the screen. Drum roll, please.
Drum roll.
All right. There we have it. Stefan LaBelle. Congratulations.
Stefan
You are
LaBelle.
the proud owner of a silver AOP subscription. I'll tell you what, we will put you in contact with United Codes and get that put together. Thank you for playing. Thank you all.
Well, we should remind everybody. It was number 2 was the lie.
Oh yes, absolutely. Number 2 was the lie, and actually, I thought they were all plausible because I mean, you are a runner. I think you could finish in the top 200 in the Brussels Marathon.
No, I think
that hasn't happened yet.
No, I don't. We need to concentrate on that, but I love to play soccer. So yeah, I'm not. If I concentrate on running, but it's more like Rule is doing more running than me. So I do it to play better soccer, but not to do the marathon.
If you see me in a marathon, you can bet I'm being chased because that's all I'm saying. Or there better be a pub at the end of the route. Anyway, we've got some great upcoming sessions. We mentioned Christina Moore. She's going to be on an upcoming episode of The Insider. I'm sure we're going to get into AOP and how she's leveraged and how much she's in love with AOP. We also have
Jennifer Nicholson will be talking about the ACE program on March 11th, and some of the Insum ACEs will be joining us as well to talk about that wonderful program. And on March 25th, we'll be welcoming Scott Spendolini as well. So a great lineup. So hope you can all join us. Monty, tomorrow we have another episode of Apex Instant Tips with Anton and Hayden, and we have a celebrity guest tomorrow. So tune in 12:05 right here on our YouTube channel. Hopefully you can all join us. Dimitri, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been great, and as we can see, you have a lot of fans in the Apex community. Well deserved. It's really been a pleasure having you on and catching up today.
Oh, thank you to the whole audience, and thank you to both the hosts too. It is wonderful. So thank you. Thank you for having me.
It was a lot of fun, and we'll catch you soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Insum Insider.